So Zhilei Zhang sends Deontay Wilder to the Shadow Realm in round 5. As expected, Zhilei Zhang completely flattened Wilder, had him flat on his back, looking up at the lights. I think Wilder probably forgot what bloody country he was in. I wasn't going to do my immediate impressions on this fight because I just wanted to watch the boxing, go to bed because of course it's very late, but I just want to give my comments because even though it's what many of us expected, seeing a knockout like that, it always wakes you up a little bit because Deontay Wilder just, he was like a super noodle by the end of the fight. He was limp. He did try and beat the count. He got to his feet, but the referee waved it off because Wilder was stumbling around like a drunk. You can't argue with that, I don't think, because he would have been absolutely iced if the fight carried on. The 4 rounds leading up to it, I gave them all to Zhang. They were relatively quiet, like many of us predicted, as both guys would respect each other's power. Deontay Wilder, I felt, to be fair, to his credit, unlike in the Joseph Parker fight, he did actually attempt some offense this time around. However, I just got the feeling that Zhang was basically getting the measure of Wilder. You could see that Zhang was very aware of what Wilder was trying to do because that's all Wilder has is a right hand. You don't really have to worry about much else. And don't get me wrong, it's an incredibly fast, powerful, explosive right-hander. It's a game changer that Wilder's used to great effect throughout his career. But a good opponent of a decent caliber who prepares diligently will have a lot of success in being able to neutralize that right hand, and that's what Zhang did. Zhang's no defensive wizard, but with some slight adjustments, some slight head movements, some defensive maneuvers, he was able to get out of the way of the right hand. There was always the sensing, the feeling that Wilder could get a bit closer with the right hand. However, in the meantime, you got Zhang, who's actually lining up some pretty decent offense. And it wasn't the cleanest offense because Wilder would duck, he would try and roll away, he'd try and move back. But Zhang was getting closer himself. And the thing is with Zhang is he's not only very crafty and skillful, but he's actually two-handed. So you've got, double trouble you have to worry about. He's got a right hook, he's got the left hand. He was splitting Wilder's jab. He was actually working the body fairly well. Well, to be fair, both guys were. Deontay Wilder, he was able to sink in a few jabs and right hands to Zhang's body to not much, no real effect. But Zhang, he was quite, it was like he was almost crushing Wilder, like Wilder was made out of tinfoil. And Wilder's not a weak man. He's actually quite strong for his size. But Zhang's this 283 pounds of power. This guy, he doesn't look like much, but he's packing some serious strength and power. And he was making it known because there were times where he was just able to force Wilder back so easily. And there were moments in those first 4 rounds where Wilder or Zhang would land on Wilder, and you could just sense it was sending bloody shockwaves through Wilder's body with that massive weight difference. And you could just see the craft was with Zhang, whereas with Wilder, didn't really have many ideas, which isn't surprising because he's just not that great a boxer. He's got ability for sure, but when he's in against someone who's actually decent, you start to see like, oh damn, this guy's actually very limited. And if he doesn't have that right hand, it's a matter of who lands first. And it happened to be Zhang who landed first. And landed first in a big way, because in the 5th round, he's really starting to piece Wilder up. And as I say, it's like every shot has consequence that Wilder's shipping. It's just, he's getting bundled around the ring at times. And he's gone to step in and really commit to this right hand. Zhang, with his trademark right hook counter, has seemingly caught Wilder on the nose. It didn't look like it landed flush at all, let alone flush on the chin. And it's disorientated Wilder. He's ended up spinning around, completely just disorientated, as I say, like bamboozled. And then as he comes back around, Zhang, for good measure, just clocks him again with another right hand, flattens him, like completely did him over. Wilder was flat on his back, legs apart, looking up at the lights. He probably thought that ayahuasca was a trip, but he's just felt the full force of the Zhang right hand, and that just sent him into another dimension. He probably Forgot which country he was in, what time zone, bloody year maybe. But that's it. What we predicted, if you didn't see my pre-fight video, I predicted Zhang would win between rounds 3 and 5. It was the 5th, and yeah, he got it done. The fight unfolded basically how I thought it was. Very relatively quiet opening rounds until Zhang got the measure of him and used those counters to good effect. And there are a lot of people obviously talking about how this is the end of Deontay Wilder. I certainly agree. I think it is. I don't think he can go anywhere from here. Even in the lead up to this fight, he looked tired, you know, like when this fight was announced. Deontay Wilder just looked like he was going through the motions. And then in the lead up to this fight, it's like he's been talking himself confident over fight week and whatnot. Getting Eddie Hearn to blow smoke up his ass to, oh, it's my team captain. You know, I picked him for a reason. He's so avoided. He's so dangerous. Yeah, Wilder's always been dangerous. But avoided? No, Wilder was the one doing the avoiding. He became champion and didn't unify with Vlad. Because didn't Shelley Finkel say something like, oh, he's just a baby. You know, he's a champion, yeah, but he's still just, no. BS. And then throws out AJ, 5-6 years ago. And people still make out as if AJ didn't want that fight. No, that is categorically untrue. It was Wilder who was responsible for certain fights not happening because him and his team wanted to cherry pick. And then obviously when Tyson Fury came back, a very depleted, weakened version of Tyson Fury, they thought he was easy pickings. And then it turned out, oh, actually he's not. And they ended up going through that whole saga of trilogies. And all of a sudden, we've had Wilder lose to Joseph Parker and now Zhang. And it flies in the face of the narrative that people were running with for so long, where Tyson Fury was just this sensational all-time great, and the only person who could come close to him was Deontay Wilder. Such bollocks. It wasn't true. But obviously the fanboys ran away with it. But I understand I'm going on a little bit of a rant now, but I think it needs to be said because the recent wave of heavyweight fights that have happened, largely thanks to the Saudi influence and all the money they've brought in, have shown and completely poked holes in these narratives that people were running with for years. Where, as I say, at the top of the tree is Tyson Fury, and the only person who can come close is Wilder, and everybody else is so scared of them, so fearful of them, so they're trying to duck these fights. It's such nonsense. That wasn't the case. Those two, Tyson Fury and Wilder, were having their little back and forth saga where they were just making millions fighting each other, gaslighting fans, making out as if those are the 1 and 2 and the rest of the divisions are relevant, and none of it. We don't need to fight these guys. They don't matter. No. And I say that because, yeah, Deontay Wilder, he's a very brave man in the ring. Like when he's up against it, when he's in a battle, he is, you know, bites down on his gum shield and he tries. I'll never take that away from him. I gave him credit for years for doing that. However, you've got to give criticism where it's due as well. And Wilder was responsible for, as I say, freezing out certain fighters, ducking certain fights, cherry picking, and now he's probably going to have to go out on a whimper. And maybe it's karma, or maybe it's just the nature of heavyweight boxing. Because ultimately, when you fight who you're supposed to fight at the right time, you're going to end up losing. And that's exactly what happened here. Deontay Wilder got into the mix. Oh, look, he lost because he's actually fighting fighters of a decent caliber that aren't just Tyson Fury. And Tyson Fury, we see a couple of weekends ago, actually fights his contemporaries who he's supposed to. Not just Wilder for a bloody 10th time. Not Chisora for a 5th time. Not Francis Ngannou. No, he fought his contemporary and he lost. It happens. Okay? But anyway, I'm going off on a rant. Zhilei Zhang did what he was supposed to do, what he was expected to do, and yeah, probably sends Deontay Wilder to the scrap heap for good. Deontay Wilder delivered some knockouts over the course of his career, but ultimately he was just another bare bum in the shower, just like the other heavyweights. There was nothing otherworldly about Wilder. He had some good attributes, but ultimately it's heavyweight boxing, and they're all going to trade wins, losses and draws. But yeah, that's all I have to say on it, to be fair. Maybe I'll do a bit more of a technical analysis tomorrow, but for now, those are my immediate impressions and a little bit of a bonus rant. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section.